going to do a rolling start here. I don't want to spin the tires, and this thing sure will. So, all right, let's wind it up a little bit. Oh, spun a little bit. Hi everybody, Jim from County Corvette. I have here a 1960 Corvette Restomod that we built. Now, there's a lot to this, and I'm not going to be able to get into the entire build process in this video. This video is just to show you how the car performs and that type of thing. So I'm sure there's going to be things I missed. Just a general overview. We started with a really clean, unhit body. It's on a street shop chassis with a 495 horsepower LS3. Transmission is 4L60E, but a modified one, beefed up. And this does have a little bit of a hot cam in it. Mechanically, it's an independent rear suspension. That's the only way we do them with the Dana 44. You know, all modern suspension, all GM suspension. I believe this is C5 suspension on this one. The paint and body work is done to concourse. It's Candy Brandywine, House of Color, which is a very difficult finish to put on a car, but that's what the job spec. It does have the white cove in here as a custom House of Color pearl. And the car is just built to a standard that I don't want to say exceeds all the other builds out there, because some really quality builds, but we build these cars to a concourse fit and finish level, but also build them to drive. We build them so a Chevy dealer can service it, or any competent mechanic. And you know, we build our own custom wiring harnesses. The cars are engineered, and there's a lot of RestoMods out there. And what I can tell you is the current cost, and I think we're building 14 of these cars right now for clients all over the place. These jobs start at $450,000, and I know that sounds, you know, like a lot, but there's a big disparity in quality. And what I can tell you is these cars are drivers, but they're also concourse show cars. And it's a very difficult balance. When we're finished with the car, this car has 1,400 miles on it. It's been completely gone through. It's a turnkey car. You can jump in the car and drive it anywhere. That's the purpose of a RestoMod in our eyes. So, you know, from the finish to the interior, you know, the interior is done in kind of an OEM theme, but just with really high-end leather. Yeah, it's got a pattern on the seats, but the seats are in the style of the 60, in the configuration. It's not like a C5 seat or something like that just looks out of place. It fits the cavity perfectly, but the quality of the leather is just as good as it gets. I mean, it's right up there with what you would find in an Aston Martin, and it's all handmade, custom stitched, and just, you know, the pinnacle of quality. So, you know, when you see RestoMods out there, it's really tough to compare and price shop, because you just don't know what you're going to get. But I can tell you what you're going to get with this one. You're going to get a turnkey concourse ready car, not a car that needs to be sorted, the car that's going to leave you stranded, that type of thing. This is a car you can jump in and drive, and it's comfortable. It's got vintage air, it's got a backup camera, it's got all the, you know, it's got power windows, all the amenities that just make it, you know, just an amazing car to drive. If you've ever driven a solid axle Restomod, it's a surreal experience, especially with the way we build it, with the independent suspension. These cars, they handle like a modern car, but if you've ever driven a, you know, a stock solid axle with the kingpin front suspension and the, you know, the solid steering shaft and all that stuff, the worm gear drive, you know, those cars, you have to really think about the driving experience. In other words, when you come up to a turn, you have to think about it. You have to kind of plan a turn. This car just glides through everything. This car's fast, it's comfortable, it's everything you could want. Color-wise, it's just as good as it gets. And the paint, the body work, you know, the fit and finish is second to none. The gaps, the thing's completely gapped, and you know, it's just the highest quality you can get out there. And this is a car you can buy today and not have to wait a year and a half, 2 years to have built. And even that, yeah, while it sounds like a lot, that would be with a shop that's really efficient, from finding a donor car to getting all the parts and actually doing the build. Some of these jobs can take 3 years. If you're dealing with a smaller shop, you know, it could take 5 years. You could have this car tomorrow. And that said, there's just really not much to compare it to. Yeah, you're going to see cars out there in the $100 to $200, $300,000 range. You can't build a car for, you know, like this for, you know, anything close to that range. So this is a brand new RestoMod. So let's take this thing out for a ride. Let me show you what it can do. It's just a hoot to drive, and you know, here it is in Pennsylvania on a beautiful spring day. Not spring yet, next week, but close enough. I'm in t-shirt, I'm happy, and we're gonna drive with the top down. So here we go. Okay, we're getting some temperature here. I'm gonna drive with the heat on because it's not quite springtime yet. It's probably low 60s here, so it use a little bit of heat. But this car is just so luxurious. This leather is the highest quality leather we could get. It rivals something you would find in a Aston Martin or something along those lines. It's just so soft and supple. And it's all from the same hide, so it's all matching. It's kind of a baseball glove type color. Just a sweetheart. All right. The power steering and power brakes. Now it's a Hydro Boost braking system. They actually take a while to break in. They're a little noisy to start with. You know, it's a GM unit, but it's rack and pinion. I mean, it's effortless to drive. Absolutely anybody could drive this car. It requires no arm strength, that type of thing, like a genuine solid axle would. And there's a lot of room in this car too. Anybody up to like 6'2", 6'3" could drive this car. I'm going to leave the sound system off so you can hear my narration. But the color is just amazing. You know, we did the dash gauge assembly to match the exterior, and it's just such a beautiful color. There's no nicks and chips on this body. It's absolutely flawless. The exhaust system has, you know, a little bit of sound to it, but it's not overwhelming or overbearing. It's just so solid. It's so precise, the steering. It's just a surreal experience looking over the dash in a solid axle and having, you know, no minimal effort required to drive the car. And that's the essence of a RestoMod. We're building a lot of these cars now, and there's a lot of demand for it. Now granted, one of the things about a RestoMod is you build it to your taste. But this thing's so tastefully done, I just don't know how you couldn't almost spec it yourself. It's just the right colors, just so nicely chosen. But this thing will cruise at 55. You feel like you're doing 25. One of the things I mentioned was, you know, our wiring harnesses. We actually build the harnesses off the cars, and it's, you know, nothing's an afterthought. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been building RestoMods for 15 years, and we're good at it. I'd say we're probably one of the largest Corvette RestoMod builders out there. We specialize only in Corvettes. We've done a few other types of cars, but we like to stay in our lane. and we've been Corvette specialists for 4 decades. So RestoMods have become a big part of our business model, and the demand is enormous. But this car needs to go to somebody who just doesn't want to wait for you know, this kind of car, and you know, there's a lot of value there, but also the value of having a specialist do it, where, you know, the car is not, there's no issues, not going to be any mysterious problems. You know, 1,400 miles is a good amount of mileage for a car like this to get sorted, and we don't even give a car back to a customer, you know, before it's worked out. Now I'm going to do a rolling start here. I don't want to spin the tires, and this thing sure will. So let's wind it up a little bit. Oh, it's spun a little bit. I mean, I'm barely touching the gas, and we just, yeah, it hits 70 miles an hour like that. Now this does have adjustable coilovers. It's set up for, you know, middle of the road comfort and performance. So it can go a little softer, it can go a little firmer. That is one of the things that we can tailor it. It's set up for Pennsylvania roads, which, you know, they're not the best. But if you live in a place like California, or, you know, wherever it's got perfect roads, you could tighten it up a little bit, or again, soften it a little bit more. It's a fast car, but, you know, on these things you're limited by aerodynamics. It's not a car you want to do 160 miles an hour, and although I do it, I'm confident we'll probably do that. This is a cruiser. Yeah, I mean, you could take it up to 100. I mean, it'll do it like that, but it's just these cars are meant to be comfortably driven, where you can't, you know, drive a regular solid axle with that level of reliability and comfort. This thing sounds great. When you have a convertible top on a solid axle like this, it's hard to fit a really wide tire on it. There's just not that much room. If you go without a convertible top, yeah, you can put 335s in there, but the tires aren't super wide, so there is, you know, a certain amount of traction limitation. But that's not what this car is about. It's not a drag car. You know, we see some of these cars built with Ford 9-inch rears and that type of thing. And if that's what you're looking for, that's fine. I just don't think it's the kind of car that most people want. And I know those cars don't typically do real well in the auctions and that type of thing, because if you're building a Restomod, you know, out of a solid axle car, get rid of the solid axle, put independent rear suspension in it. And that's my surely my preference. This backup camera is just, again, I use the word surreal. It's surreal having a backup camera in a 1960 Corvette. But the heat's on now. It feels great. You know, it's not quite summer weather yet, but very comfortable to drive on a day like today. And you know, when it gets hot out, you can even drive with the AC on. The AC blows ice cold, and it's a modern system. It's not, you know, 50-year-old air conditioning. Although we can, you know, restore and rebuild those systems, these are new systems. That would be like rebuilding an air conditioning system in your house, as opposed to just replacing with a new unit. New units are, uses a different gas. I think this is 134A, and they just work better. So anyway, there's a complete catalog of images from the entire build on this car. Current photography of it, top, bottom, inside and out. And it's just a no excuses, no issues, no surprises Corvette Restomod by County Corvette. And we're proud of it. We're proud of our builds. My team is amazing. These guys are artisans. And this car, you can have it tomorrow. All right, so thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe and take a good look at this build. It's second to none, and thanks for watching.